probably okay if you don't show those, if we can't get that to work, unless you really want to do the hotspot.
Oh, no, that's okay.
I don't know, try Vimeo one more time. Yeah, can you show them up your stuff? That's good.
It's run through Vimeo now, so it's easy. Unless when you don't, we can skip.
No, we're good.
Skip that video if you want to.
We are all good.
Yeah, any OA page could not be loaded.
Well, I wonder why they do that. See, I could, when I open up your site, this part was pointed. I mean, the home page. Well, I can start it if you're ready to sit down if you want. No, if you want me to, I can start. I'm sorry, I guess it must be like the Badger Wi-Fi. We have to go through this big process to connect to the other network, and so I don't know. Okay. It's gonna like send you a code to your phone. We have an unusual login. Can you open up? Can you open a like an incognito browser and just go to your site without being logged into your site? Or can you? Because you just had YouTube. It was working. The YouTube ones though were working from here, right? From the presentation. So if you just go to your site like a visitor rather than the owner. So now it should start, right? Okay. Okay. I'm gonna start. Is that okay? Okay. All right, Joe, we're gonna get started. Tell me when you're good to go. All right, welcome everybody to this week's entrepreneurship seminar. Sorry for the technical difficulties today. It's always fun with technology. But I think you're going to really, really love the presentation today. I'm really excited that Gilbert Rowley could be with us, and I'll introduce him in just a minute. 3 quick announcements. There's still a couple spots for lunch today. If any of you want to come to lunch with Gilbert after this presentation, I think I have 2 more spots. If you're interested, it's first come, first serve. Just come talk to me right here after class. That's at 1:30 to 2:30 over in the Grid Center. The Bootstrap Your Business competition is tomorrow, Thursday, 5 p.m. in the Grid Center. So the deadline to apply has passed, and we did get some entries from people in the class. Way to go. We're excited to see your pitches tomorrow. Remember, you have the chance to win up to $500, but it's audience choice. So if you want to come support your classmates and vote for your favorite, you have the chance to help them win money. Again, so you're all invited to as spectators, I guess. That's tomorrow in the Grid Center, 5 p.m., Bootstrap Your Business pitch competition. Last thing is Opportunity Quest is going on right now. The application is open. If you want to apply to that, remember that's the last chance you have for extra credit in this class if you need it. The deadline to apply is next Friday, October 30th at 5 p.m. The application requirements are a max 3-page executive summary of your idea and a 2-minute video. And you have the chance to win up to $2,000 for your business idea in Opportunity Quest. So I'm really hoping that some of you decide to enter. You know, what do you have to lose? You have a lot to gain. So again, that's Opportunity Quest. The application link is in Canvas. I posted that last week. So you can go back to your Canvas messages and find that link to apply. All right, it's my pleasure to introduce Gilbert Rowley today. Gilbert is a professional filmmaker that specializes in the outdoor industry and is the owner of Capture Adventure Media. Among his accomplishments in film production include 6 official selections into the International Fly Fishing Film Festival and the recent critically acclaimed instructional films from the Modern Nymphing series. In 2018, his conservation-minded adventure film Confluentus won Best Freshwater Fishing Video in the 2018 Drake Magazine Fly Fishing Video Awards. So any fly fishermen or women in the audience today? Yes, okay, you guys are gonna love this. In 2019, his film, The Midnight Mission, won the International Fly Fishing Film Festival by being voted Film of the Year by audiences worldwide. Capture Adventure Media has continued to find success in the outdoor industry and has done work for many of the industry's largest companies and personalities. Outside of filmmaking, Gilbert graduated from Utah State University with a bachelor's degree in fisheries and aquatic science and has continued to promote conservation and wise stewardship practices with his various films and fishing adventures. In addition to this adventurous lifestyle, his most cherished time comes while being with his wife and 5 children, and we're also excited to welcome Angie Rowley with us here today. So thank you, Angie, for being here. If you'd like to follow Gilbert, you can follow along the adventure on YouTube, Instagram at Gilbert Rowley, or the website Capture Adventure Media. And I also have to add, Gilbert and Angie are mean pickleball players and good friends of mine. So please welcome Gilbert Rowley.
Awesome. Thanks, Russ. Just goes to show you got to be careful with who you make friends with. They might get you up on a stage to talk to a bunch of people. I'm just kidding. Russ is a great friend. All right, so Capture Adventure Media with the little subheader there that says Live Life on Purpose. That's what we're going to talk about today. So it might seem kind of crazy to think that somebody can support a family making videos about fly fishing, right? That sounds kind of crazy to me, and I'm doing it. It's not your everyday norm, right? But a big purpose or a big reason is because we decided a few years back, my wife and I, that we wanted to live life on purpose. Now, what does that mean? Who here has siblings, brothers and sisters? Just about everybody? Okay, if you're a brother, you can relate. You probably at some point grabbed your sister by the hair, pulled on that ponytail, right? She ran to mom and said, "He did it on purpose," right? Meaning he did that because he's a jerk. He did that because he thought about it and he really wanted to do that. If you're a girl, you know, you probably pestered your brother and he probably ran to mom and dad and said, "She was being mean on purpose," or whatever, right? So we've all experienced that before, but what does it mean to live life on purpose? So to live life on purpose means do what you want to do, but in a controlled manner, right? Have a lot of energy out there kind of headed into the right direction. People aren't telling me exactly what to do. If my wife gets sick, or a perfect example, she didn't get sick. The other day, she pulled a whole bunch of pears off from a tree and said, "We got to bottle these pears." Well, because I'm living life on purpose, I just took the day off. Was that a wise business decision? Probably not, right? But that's kind of the path that we decided to tread about 5 years ago. So going back, let me get my slides going here. All right, so today we're going to talk about the top 4 ways, in my opinion, to live life on purpose. When I was thinking about this presentation, I thought, well, I could stand up here and talk to you guys about how to make a business succeed, what are the causes of business failures and a few things like that. But instead I thought it might be more, more fun for me. I don't know about you guys, but to talk about a lifestyle instead of a business, to talk about a way to find happiness, find a way to be able to truly live life on purpose. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So the top 4 ways. Number 1 is to build a business, and we'll dive deeper into that. Number 2, find a way to make it profitable. Number 3, protect the asset. That's not a quote from me. We'll get to that. It's one of my favorites. And number 4, how to make it last. So first of all, why don't we build a business? You guys up for that? Can you help me with that? Okay, if we're going to build a business, let's say we're going to build Capture Adventure Media and we make videos in the outdoors, okay? What kind of employees are we going to need to be able to make videos? Any guesses? So maybe like somebody who likes to be outside that knows how to run a camera. Do you know how to run a camera? Right here. We just found our DP, our cinematographer, right there. He's hired. Okay? What else do we need for a business? Does anybody know how to edit? Oh, yes, we're scoring big. You can take my job. You're the editor. I like that. Okay, perfect. How about to run the day-to-day? What do you need in a business? You probably need a CEO or a president, right? Somebody to kind of call the shots. Who wants to be our CEO? Anybody? Here we go, right in the middle. It's usually somebody bold sitting right in the middle, not afraid to raise his hand. CEO, right there. Perfect. Who's good with money? I better not raise my hands. There we go, the gal in the front here. We've got us a CFO, right? So she's going to help make sure that our books stay straight, keep us out of trouble with the government, make sure our bills get paid, make sure we can provide for our families, right? Okay, what else? Anything else? We need a VP of sales. Somebody's got to sell our products or find us clients, right? Do we have any salesmen in the room? Right in the middle, perfect. Man, this is a talented bunch. I'm getting excited here. We don't have to call it Capture Adventure Media. We can call it whatever we want, right? Sky's the limit. I might just go along for the ride and let you guys run this thing too. I mean, it seems like a very capable group. The only problem is, I got to be completely honest with you. I'm not going to be able to pay you anything for about 3 years. So all the work that you do running a camera, all the work that you do editing, all the big decisions back there in the middle, all the financial decisions, everything else, we're going to have to buy some time, right? So for about 3 years, we're not going to make anything. In fact, we're just going to make videos as fast as we can, the highest quality possible, push them out the door, and we're going to give them away. Now that sounds crazy, doesn't it? But are you guys still up for the ride? Hands up of our group. Are you guys still in for it? 3 years. CEO, yes. I love it. Perfect. That's a pretty big commitment, right? Now, without money, without a lot of resources, you're limited in a lot of ways, right? There are tons of ways to start a business. One would be to go out and get a bunch of investment money, find a way to hire all these great people, and build a business. That's probably a very sound way to do it. However, when you're just starting out, oftentimes that's not a reasonable way to do it. So instead, all of the positions that we just had people raise their hands for, all of those fall back on one person, the person starting the business. So with Capture Adventure Media, I'm the CEO, I'm the CFO, terrible at that one, just FYI. I'm the film, I'm the guy that runs the camera, I'm the guy that takes the footage home and spends weeks on end editing. You know how that is, right? It can be pretty rough, right? It all falls back on one person. I'm also the salesman. I'm not a salesman, I'm a creative guy. However, I have to wear all these hats to make a business go. So it gets a little complicated and it gets a little bit tricky. And the statement about 3 years of giving away your product for free just to make your business run, true story. Sounds crazy, I know, especially when I've got a wife and 3, 4, now 5 kids to support along the way. Is it possible? I'm here to say that it is. So let me tell you just a little bit. Oh, that film's not going to play. We're going to skip a couple. I was going to show you a few of the videos that Capture Adventure Media has produced over the years. But instead, we'll jump to this slide. All right, so we're going to talk about who we are, who our business is, our history. We're going to talk about a few of our struggles that we've overcome and some successes that we've experienced along the way. So going back, 2010, I graduated from Utah State with a degree in fisheries and aquatic science. I'm here to tell you, if you want to be broke the rest of your life, that's a degree for you. It's great. But I'm the kind of guy that, we have to measure and weigh lifestyle versus finances, right? I love being outside. I love the great outdoors. So for me, it was a no-brainer. It's what I love to do, so I went and I got a degree in it. Went to work for the fishing game for 6 months and quickly realized I probably went down the wrong path. So I backtracked, decided I was done with school, and went to work in the electronics industry. That's not being outside. That's nothing to do with fish, right? However, it was a great experience. I worked my way up from what's called a maintenance technician, so I was a guy who pretty much fixed $500,000 machines without any experience. They were so kind to let me put my hands on those machines. I don't know what they were thinking, but it was great. It was a great learning opportunity, and because of hard work and diligence, I was able to move up in the electronics industry to where after a few years, I had moved up into a position called production manager. So production manager, we had 4 shifts that ran 24/7, and all shifts reported to me. And I did this for about 5 years, and it was a good experience. Sorry. I wish I could blame this on COVID. I'm not sick. Just that when I think about the path that we've taken to get to where we're at, we had a lot of highs and we've had a lot of lows. Russ is like, man, never had anybody cry probably. This is a first, right? Anyways, building a business is all about highs and lows. So here I am working for Yesco Electronics. We built big digital displays. So like if you ever go and watch the Utah Jazz play, all the jumbotrons inside of the stadium, we built. My crew, my shift built all of those. As well as, along the freeway, all the big signs and things, we built a lot of electronic displays, right? It was cool. I was on top of the world. I was moving up. And our company got bought out by Samsung. And I thought, oh, that's okay, we'll just go along with the ride with a great big company, no big deal. Samsung was awesome. They loved me. I loved Samsung. It was great. It was awesome. And then one day, it might sound crazy, but my wife and I had an impression that I was supposed to quit my job. I was making really good money. I had a pathway kind of lined out from here till the next 30 years that I could retire on and probably be pretty well financially off, right? However, we followed this prompting. I quit my job. I got a call from Korea even saying, what are you doing? We need you. The people at Yesco said, if you ever need a job, give us a call. You're always welcome. And we left, closed the door without a plan. This was in 2015. And like I say, we were on a pretty big high at that point to go to a pretty big low, right? All of a sudden we were like, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Okay, we got to figure something out. Well, I know how to guide. I guided on the Provo River for about 10 years as a fly fishing guide on and off. So we can make some money doing that. Also, to get through college, I was a tile setter. So it was, okay, we can make some money doing construction if we need to. There's all these options. And I like to run a camera. I'm just no good at it. I'm okay at it at that point. I was no good at it 10 years ago. 5 years ago, I was getting pretty good. So all of a sudden, we started looking for job opportunities outside of actually working for somebody. Starting a business was the idea, but we didn't know what business to start. So by a show of hands, who thinks Gilbert Rowley is crazy? Yes. A couple. If I were you, I would have raised my hand. Okay, but we went on this path, and it was an adventure, and it was a journey. We had a little bit of money in the bank, not a lot of money in the bank. We had 3 kids at the time, and we were just along for the ride. To make a long story short, because I could go all day long about this, we had some struggles that we had to overcome. A big part of it was how to pay our bills, how to pay the everyday bill, right? Because money doesn't stop. There's at no point in your life when you're established with a family do you ever get a free ride for anything. So you've got to make money, right? So here we were. I contacted a bunch of clients that I used to do a bunch of guide trips for in the Provo. Nobody had any work for me. I really didn't want to go back to doing construction. So I was left with the third option, making videos. So I started looking everywhere. And all of a sudden, these video jobs started coming. And it was crazy because that wasn't the primary goal, was to become a filmmaker. However, through diligence and hard work, all of a sudden I found myself on one of the biggest stages in fly fishing. That first year in 2015, I went to San Diego and made a film called Wide Open, which is about yellowfin tuna saltwater fishing. I'm a kid from Utah. I'd never even been to the ocean. I've been to the ocean, but I've never fished in the ocean until that point. So here I am making a video about something I know nothing about. Well, it was accepted into what's called the International Fly Fishing Film Festival, with which Russ mentioned. It was received extremely well, and from that, momentum started to build. So a lot of times when you hear about people creating a business, like I said, they're much more strategic and they're much smarter in the way that they go about things. We went down a path that with a lot of uncertainty, which if you feel inspired to do so, go for it. You'll be supported. If you don't, I'd probably choose another route. However, we found ourselves in the middle of this, and things kept coming our way through hard work and diligence, which is a big part of how to live life on purpose. and that is whatever you do, do it well. Okay? If you're going to work for somebody, awesome. Start out fixing machines and get to where you're running the whole crew. If you're going to be a nurse, get to where you're running the floor one day. I mean, whatever it might be, just do your best to be good at it, and doors will open up. Okay? I know not everybody in this room is probably going to start a business. I would encourage you all to start a business. Even if you have a job, start a little business on the side. See if it gains some traction and momentum. But for those that do, you got to work really, really hard, and you got to become the best at what you do. So that's a little bit of kind of a pep talk there. So nowadays, I went from running a crew of hundreds of people to here. These are my coworkers. I've got my wife and my 5 kids. They get a little crazy sometimes, right? So there's my editing desk from a few years ago. That little stool is where Sage, she's our daughter that spent a lot of time with me, she'd sit right there and pretend like she was making movies with me. That's my chair, and everything's a mess, right? That's the life of somebody starting a business. I wouldn't trade that coworker either. She's fantastic. All right, so a few of the successes that I've talked about. So every year, I've been able to get a film accepted into the IF4 is what it's called. Wide Open, The Jungle's Edge, those are both saltwater. Confluentus is a film about bull trout. Mako's is about Mako sharks. We hooked a 700-pounder that jumped 15 feet out of the water. Got it all on film. It was fantastic. The Midnight Mission is a film from just 2019. And these films all travel around the world to over 100 locations where people vote on them. Confluentus took second. The Jungle's Edge took second. The Midnight Mission was the first one that I finally won the festival with in 2019. And then last year I had a film called Particles and Droplets that was also received well before COVID hit and the showings were canceled. Let's see here. I don't know if this is going to play. Nope, that's okay. At some point I'll show you a little bit of my film work here. What time is it? How far in? I don't want to miss the important stuff here. Okay, perfect. So The Midnight Mission, as I explained, this is one of my films that won. It's now available on YouTube, and people are receiving it very well. It's not going to play either. Okay. So we're going to jump ahead to how to make a business profitable. So, first of all, we have to ask ourselves, what does it mean to be profitable? So we have to measure and weigh money versus lifestyle. So I haven't looked at the whole list of people who have presented and before and who you've heard from, but there's a pretty good chance that I might be the poorest of them all with regards to finances. Yet I'm providing for a family and life's going great. However, I would argue, and like I said, I don't know, but I would argue that if we are going to measure it with lifestyle, it'd be pretty hard to find somebody who's living a better life than I'm living. Now, everybody's got a different dream, right? But I got a good dream. You guys know in the movie Tangled when they're talking about Flynn Rider and the guy says, your dream sucks. Make sure your dream doesn't suck, right? I got a great dream, and I'm loving it. So lifestyle versus wealth, okay? And that's our lifestyle versus money. And that's going to be the wealth that you need to measure and balance when you're deciding on how to make things profitable. So our top 3 revenue streams in captured venture media, one way that we make money is sponsorships. So for those who fly fish, I could rattle off just about any company in the fly fishing industry, and there's a good chance that I've done work for them. And those are good opportunities. They get a lot of people looking our direction. However, sponsorships don't bring in a ton of money. But that is one way that we make money. Number 2, production services. So we do get hired by companies, or another way that we make money is counties like San Juan County, Garfield County, Bryce Canyon. These places that have a lot of drive for tourism, they hire us to make tourism-based videos. Not related to fly fishing, but you got to make money somehow, and we sometimes I get to take my family on these trips, and they're the talent, right? I run around all these cool places filming them, and it works out great. And the third way that we make, our third primary way is through products, which are educational content. Those are my favorite. So what happens is I spend about 2 months filming a project and about 400 hours editing this project, and then I put it up for sale, and then I go into other projects while the money rolls in from that sale. So the first one of those that I launched was 3 years ago, and we still get checks every month from it, and I love it. It's great. So those are our top 3 ways. So down in the corner, you'll see the YouTube sign and a little caution symbol. If you have great ambitions in life and you think you're going to make a whole bunch of money on YouTube, don't quit your day job. Once again, go out, try to make it happen, see how it goes. When my YouTube channel is doing really well, which I don't put a ton of effort into it, but when it is going well, I'll have anywhere from 50 to 70,000 views a month, which, as you guys know, in the YouTube world, that's not that many, but in the fly fishing world, it's pretty good. 50,000 views makes me about $50 a month. So if you think about a guy like, let's use Devin Supertramp or some of these big YouTubers that have millions of views, YouTube is still one of the smallest areas in which they make money. So if I use YouTube as a way to drive people to see my other content, to possibly buy the educational content, or to go to the IF4 and watch other films of mine, those types of things. So it's a very valuable tool. However, I don't make hardly any money off from YouTube. Okay, so here's a couple of examples of films. So entertainment, this goes under the categories of sponsors. Let's see if we can get it to play. Nope. Let's try it this way. So for those that fly fish, was that cool content? You guys all right with that? That's what I do for a living. Like I said, lifestyle, top notch. Most of those films were filmed in about a 1-year span. So Belize, Mexico, Canada, multiple areas in the United States, all to make a fly fishing film series that actually didn't make us very much money, right? The reason behind this series with entertainment and sponsors, the sponsors bought our plane tickets, they paid for all of our expenses. However, this is marketing. So I'm building an audience, I'm building people who want to follow my content so that they will then buy those instructional films and other things. So that's one way we make money. Here we go, production services. Let's see. So this is a film that we made last year down in San Juan County. It's 30 seconds. So it's very short. I'm going to see if I can get it to play. Nope. Let's go back. And this is a good example of, somebody goes out, they call me up and they say, hey, can you come make a video for me? And I oblige and say, sure, I won't be fishing that week, so we'll go ahead and do that. Oh, darn it, it canceled it when I tried to go full screen. Sorry, guys, I won't be able to get it up there full screen. This one more time.
There's a place that has stood for thousands of years, an icon of Western history, beauty, and adventure. It has been home to ancient peoples before us, and will continue to delight generations well after. Your next epic road trip, vacation, or adventure is waiting in San Juan County, Utah's Canyon Country. Make it monumental.
So those are fun ones, not as fun as fishing, but they pay the bills better. So another source of income for us. And then lastly, here's a quick trailer to some of our educational content.
In our first video, our focus was to give you a foundation on which you could build your European nymphing experience. We hope with this video to elevate your nymphing.
Back up real quick. So those are 3 examples of ways that we make money in the industry that I'm in. So you got to make it profitable, right? So there's a couple things to keep in mind when you're considering business opportunities is how big your audience is. The fly fishing industry is very small. Like in this group, we had a handful of people that like to fly fish. It's a very small industry in the world. If you were to pick something like, I don't know, let's make movies about eating food. Everybody on the planet eats food, right? You're going to have a bigger audience, but a lot more competition. So there's all kinds of factors that go into measure and weigh how to make a company profitable and whether or not it's worth pursuing that. So fly fishing, a very small industry, yet there are ways to make a living in it. So for time purposes, we're going to go on to number 3. Number 3, remember, this is all about how to live life on purpose. I'm doing all this on purpose. It seems crazy, but I am. Protect the asset. That quote comes from a book called Essentialism. Has anybody ever heard of or read the book Essentialism? So a couple people. Life-changing. It's fantastic. It is so good. I love it. In this book, he uses the quote, protect the asset. Protect the asset. What is the asset? The asset is what makes you money. The asset is you. Whether you open a business or whether you go to work every day for somebody else, you are the asset. And if you're not protecting it, you're asking for trouble. Your business will fail or you'll lose your job. Bad things happen when you don't protect the asset. So a couple of things that I got from this book that I've really tried to implement over the last few years to really protect the asset in my life, which is me, is sleep. Sleep is a very big one. Now, you guys are in college, so I understand if you're not getting a full 8 hours. I recommend that you do, right? However, I understand that it's a time period in life where you may not be getting 8 hours of sleep. However, clear minds, lots of energy to work hard. Sleep is critical. Number 2, healthy lifestyle. What I mean by that is being outside, eating healthy, not being fully consumed by social media, video games, TV, whatever it might be. There can be a place in your life for those types of things. But having a healthy lifestyle, right now, I remember when I was in college, I used to think to myself, I can eat whatever I want. I don't have to work out anymore. I'm still young enough where I can just go, hang out with my buddies, chase the ladies, do whatever it takes to just have a good time. And now that I'm a little bit older, not that much older, now I'm thinking, dang, I wish I would have protected the asset a little bit better and maybe, been a little bit healthier in my younger college days. You guys are like, whatever. But I suggest that. Working out is another one. High school, if you play sports, you're usually working out. Then I got to college and I was like, oh, I think I'm okay. I'm still skinny. I don't care. I'm good. So I stopped working out, and it wasn't a good life habit, right? And it took me years to get back into running, years to get back into truly trying to be able to make it where I can live this life on purpose for as long as possible, because the body that I have is the only one that I'm going to get. I need to protect it. I need to take care of it. And number 4 is to read. Now, reading, if I could offer, which I probably shouldn't even say this because it's not possible, I'm sure, but Russ probably won't give you extra credit for this, but in extra credit in life, you'll get bonus points if you add onto your phone Audible or Libby today. You guys already have that? Raise your hand if you guys have one of those two. Sweet. A couple people do. Awesome. I'm an Audible fan. It costs money, but I hear people say like, oh, I read this book. It's awesome. And I have to read that book like right then. In fact, this happened just the other day. Your professor told me a book. I went home, got it on Audible, and I'm almost done listening to it. I love it. It's fantastic. Libby's great because it's free, but you have to wait a little bit of time in order to get access to these books. It's critical, right? The people that wrote these books, I could give you a whole list. There's lots of good books out there. They've already went through, they've already learned a lot of things. Learn from them by reading or listening to these books. It's fantastic. You won't be successful if you don't take care of you. So there's a few ways that I suggest you do that. Okay, let's jump to number four before we run out of time, and that is make it last. Okay, I'm not talking about your business, not your business, but your purpose. Okay, whatever the reason might be that if you do start a business, you need to know what the purpose of that is. If it's to make a bunch of money, you're probably going to fail. If it's to help people, if it's to have a healthier lifestyle for yourself, if it has a true purpose behind it, you'll probably find a way to succeed. Now, if you have a business that does just generate a whole bunch of money, good for you. That's not a bad thing, right? However, find out what your purpose is. I might not be making films next year. Maybe I will be. I don't know. It's okay if I'm not. But whatever it is, I'm going to have another business. I'm going to have another opportunity to help me live my life on purpose. That's my mindset. That's my outlook. That's what I work towards. I try to find ways. I try to find opportunities so that I don't have to be tethered to what other people want me to do. Might sound a little selfish, but that's the life that I chose to live. We just moved to Ephraim about a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago. We get asked all the time, why did you move to Ephraim? Because we wanted to. How many people can say that? How many people, when you're asked, why did you guys come to Ephraim? Because of Snow College, right? It's not a bad thing, but you came here because there's an opportunity. People get jobs, so they move places. I move places because I want to live there. Some of you guys are like, wow, you chose Ephraim? Others are like, yeah, this is the greatest place ever. Right? We moved here because we wanted to, not because there's a bunch of outdoor fly fishing film opportunities or anything like that. So that's what I mean by live life on purpose. And if you guys find out that that's something that you want to strive towards, that you want to implement in your own lives, work hard, and you'll be able to make it happen. I wanted to reserve a little bit of time right now. How much time do we have? Do we have a couple minutes? 5 minutes for any questions that you guys might have. Yeah, any questions? Libby. What's it called? Scribd. Awesome. I haven't heard of that, but that's a great one. Thank you. And, oh, sorry. Here we go. On the front row. Yeah, who do I specifically sell my fly fishing films to? Is that the question? Okay, so the instructional content is where to be honest with you, that's where I make most of my money. So those films are all available online, and because fly fishermen are a lot of times older gentlemen and ladies who like to have something palpable, so we actually still print DVDs and sell them as well. And those are all ran through a site called tacticalflyfisher.com. So we just reach out a lot of social media marketing, Facebook ads, Instagram ads, and that sort of thing, and also word of mouth. And we sell digital copies for $20 a pop. Usually there's a coupon code floating around out there, and people organically find it. One thing that I did is I teamed up to make these films with two of the most well-known fly fishermen in the United States, and they have big, dedicated followings, and because of that, it's been very successful. Thanks. Any other questions? If not, I've got some questions for you guys. No questions? All right, Mr. CEO, what do you want to be when you grow up? Nice. That's perfect. That's the right attitude as well. Start small, grow it up, and make it successful. Go ahead. So a lot of times you hear people say, find what you're passionate about and pursue that, right? Good and bad advice. So my opinion, so to repeat the question if I didn't, sorry. How did I find what my purpose is to start the business that I started? And how do I apply it to what I want to do? That's a great question. So when I hear people say things like, find out what you're passionate about, starting a business around that is one of the best ways to ruin that thing. So you got to be careful, right? Because fly fishing, I'll be honest, it used to be a little more fun when I actually got to fish and not run around with the camera, right? However, I still love it and I'm still passionate about it, but you got to be careful about that thing. So that's not as sound of advice as YouTube might believe you to think it is. What I would say is find out what drives you to be a better person, whatever that might be. So for me, I had a moral dilemma and a moral debate within myself. I got to be honest, I'm not a huge fan of consuming a ton of digital content. Flipping through Instagram, waste of time. Facebook, I deleted it a couple months ago, and I haven't had more time in years. It's been great. What do I do for a living? I give people opportunities to sit in front of their screen more, right? So I had to question myself, like, why would I want to present something that I'm not a true believer in? And through talking to my wife, it was evident through the comments and the interaction and things from people who basically told me, you inspire us to be better people and to be more adventurous and to go outside. And right then it made sense. I was like, okay, my purpose isn't to glue them to the screen. My purpose is to help people get outside. So it all depends on, what's going to make you a better person, how best you can help other people would be my advice. Great question. Any other questions? All right, well, that's all I've got, so thank you for your time.